How is this year going for you in the United States?
Economic wise, we're recovering really well. We focus on recovering from what's known as what has recently been said as the Great Depression, which has affected many countries worldwide.
Do you have any new ideas for your country?
Right now, we're focused on creating more jobs, which should improve the economy, and maintaining a so to speak stable government.
How has your economy been doing lately?
Since the late since the early 30s and the late 20s, we've grown economically a lot more from where we were, say, 10 years ago.
How do you feel on the growing military of Nazi Germany?
Um, it does concern me, but I hope their ambitions are wise and are friendly to our country and our allies.
Do you side with Hitler, who has his country looking at him like a god?
Um, I don't believe how his propaganda puts him uh, in that place, but his people can believe what they want to believe.
What do you think of the politics rising in that country?
The way his politics work, I don't believe in it personally, but his people want what they want, and they voted him in.
Okay. To With Germany invading Poland, do you think the ambitions are friendly?
Um, from my aspect, I hope they are. But even after we told them not to invade any countries due to our fear of their rising military action, it does put you on tense, put you on edge. I mean, but you just gotta hope for the best from them.
Are you concerned about the non-aggressive pact between the USSR and the Nazi Germany?
It does scare me a little that the Russians or the Soviet Union is working with Nazi Germany, two very big militaries, but I have most of Europe on my side, so I'm not too afraid.
How are you siding with the Allies? Are you neutral?
Um, right now, from a war perspective, I am neutral, and I just kind of want Europe to deal with their problems. That's what I hope it is, just Europe's problems.
Are you afraid of Germany's military from how fast they split Poland? 27 days to be exact.
Well, recently they've put a lot of money in it, so I almost expect them to be able to do that, considering they put, I think, over 30% of their GDP into their military, which is a very large amount, but that's what it is.
Is this a Europe problem or is this a United States problem?
Um, I would say I'm hoping this is just a problem for Europe. I hope it doesn't turn into something that is on multiple continents and turn into another world war.
Us as a country, can we afford another war?
Um, right now, not much, but I believe we can raise the money and improve taxes and bail bonds. But I have discussed this with our Congress, and we've come together saying we need to raise about 300 billion if we want to go to war with Germany and imperialist Japan right now, which is taking countries from the imperialist Britain and France and is almost unchecked. So we've come together saying we can do this with raised taxes and war bombs through the country.
How does our army compare to Nazi Germany?
Our army from World War One, we were almost kind of humiliating, but we've learned from that, and we're growing with coming out with better technology from the Manhattan Project that we've put a lot of money into, and we soon will see some result. I'm sure of it. Um, but I feel we can 1-on-1 we can win.
Germany has invaded over 6 countries. You told them not to. How does this affect your relationship?
I gotta say, personally, our country is war torn on being going on and making war with them, and others want to be neutral. But personally, it tears me apart what they've been doing over there. I mean, we sent them a direct letter and in videos or of movies people have made of Hitler's propaganda. He's pretty much made a laughing stock of it, making a comedy of our speech not to invade France, Belgium, Netherlands, Yugoslavia, Latvia, and Lithuania. But our country is war torn, and you can't go to war with a country that doesn't want to fight.
So does this mean you're a part of the Allies now?
I don't see us siding with the Axis anytime soon.
Hitler has almost all of the mainland Europe in his grip.
This does scare me, considering Britain is pretty much all that is left for Western Europe, and it almost makes you think: is Germany really going to be able to maintain all this land currently, or will they fall apart?
The attack on Pearl Harbor. Do you have a plan for war?
Pearl Harbor has definitely rallied our country into becoming more wanting to go into war, but now economically we do need to raise up money for war and be able to engage. The fact of the matter is, who do we engage first?
So who would you engage first, Germany or Japan?
We feel that it is best. We have to discuss this with my generals to keep Britain alive as our only ally. We feel like without them, we feel like we will lose the war.
How do you feel about women working the fields?
Women are a big part currently in manufacturing for all things, and from aircraft to tanks, bullets, ammunition, guns, boots, food, and all around. They're doing a big part, and I believe this war will help women in gaining more rights also.
In the near future, can we see women in the battlefields?
I don't believe so, but maybe if it's their choice. But I don't believe we should have a draft for women.
Japan has captured the countries France and Britain almost unchecked. Does this affect the war in a small or large way?
By capturing the countries that Britain and France had once imperialized, I believe this keeps the Japanese war machine going by giving them resources. Like when they invaded Dutch Indochina, they gave them a lot of rubber for many things they can use for a war, and it's a resource game currently.
Freezing Japan's assets and oil, will this cripple them?
I believe it will, but slowly. And they had a choice between stopping what they were doing or going to war, and they chose war. So we're gonna have to do what we're gonna have to do.
We have chosen to keep Britain afloat, but they are particularly buckled under siege from Germans' air attacks. Do you think you will succeed?
Currently we're just shipping them 5 million tons of just stuff, trying to keep them afloat right now. But unfortunately, in the Battle of the Atlantic, the German submarines, they're just tearing us apart.
Is an invasion of Japan realistic?
Japan invading has been a fear in the back of my head, but I don't feel they have a big enough mighty power to take us on, considering when they took the attacks on Pearl Harbor, they didn't really cripple our Pacific fleet. We still had our aircraft carriers, which are really important right now, and our oil. They did not damage our oil, which is a good thing for us.
What is your biggest fear?
losing the war at this point. It I I do not want to fail my people, my country, for all the presidents before me. I have to succeed beyond all belief and do what many believe I cannot do.
If we were to lose this war, how would the United States economy be?
There would be no economy. There would be no United States. We'd be all Nazis. So that question, it's putting fear into me.
2. You have supplied Britain with a lot of supplies, and you are finally seeing results. Does this make you happy?
Um, Finally seeing results is very great. Um, the British Air Force, or the Royal Air Force, the RAF, has succeeded beyond belief. Pretty much a comeback due to how bad they were doing just a year ago. But I hope winning the air war over the Luftwaffe, which is a very powerful air force, will help us succeed and defeat the Nazis.
Since Britain's taken care of, does that mean we can attack Japan in the near future?
I believe the attack on Japan will hold off, specifically Japan, but I hope on splitting now between taking over, liberating France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and all those Western European countries. But I do believe we need to start taking back not a little, but more islands. But the death toll from each island, it scares me.
Cracking the Japanese military code, was that a big impact?
Cracking the Enigma code helped us win the Battle of Midway, which was a big part of us doing well in the Pacific War right now, and it helped us tell when Japan was coming, where they're coming, what they're bringing to come, and gave us everything. It was pretty sad for what happened to them.
Winning the Battle of Midway, is that helping the Battle of the Pacific?
Hugely. Without Midway, we don't know what we'd be doing right now.
2. The success of D-Day, can you say it's going to be a factor in the war?
D-Day was a very, very big success for us, especially in the European War. It gave us a foothold in Europe, mainland Europe, and it will help us eventually liberate, hopefully, France. But the lives lost in it were unbearable, personally.
With the failed invasion of the USSR, the Nazi Empire is falling apart. Do you feel you won the war?
Hitler did not make a wise decision, and I believe he made this decision to invade the USSR because he was running out of oil. But he tried to make synthetic oil, which we bombed since we have won the air war, have destroyed all their synthetic oil plants where they had to invade the USSR to get all the oil fields in the southern mid USSR region. So doing that was something they had to do, but it wasn't smart. We're fighting a war on two fronts, and that's helped us take over most of Europe.
Do you think the large amount of death in the Pacific are worth it for each little island?
That's how we're gonna